Should I invest in stocks or should I invest in properties? That was the question I asked myself many years ago because I want to buy a home. I wanted actually to also create wealth from stocks investing. So how should I do it? So most recently, I'd like to share with you a very interesting experience. It was actually a property launch in Singapore called the Normanton Park Property Launch. And Normanton Property in Singapore is actually have a lot of history because a developer bought over the place a few years ago. The entire place, one of the largest en bloc sale. They call it en bloc, means you buy the whole thing, whole place for 830 million or 850 million, something, one of the huge one. And I know about that place because I stayed that place for maybe 20 years and was sold off to the developer with a few hundred of other individuals in that development. So I was there on Sunday. I was invited because the developer are launching new sales, and it was actually a fantastic place because you can see the sea, it's a lot of greenery, there's a lot of emotional happening. Now the question I want to ask is this: if I'm buying a home to stay, it's an emotional decision, okay? Money is actually probably secondary because why? If you want to stay in the place to grow the family, you always find a reason that this is an important place to do. For example, when I bought the place many years ago in Normanton Park, I did it because I want to find a place that is near the school where my daughter can go to the school, right? And we found the nearer to the place, the better. What I didn't figure out at that time was, it was slightly just outside that space, that parameters, so it didn't get to that school. But anyway, we like the place, we stay on for 20 years. But now coming to this development, if you want to buy a place for your home, then you get very excited, you find all the reasons to do it. Now this place in Normanton Park, when I went there over the weekend, there were lots of people around, there's so many people excited. And I was surprised, you know why? Why I was surprised was this. Last year was a pandemic, the recession was the worst recession in Singapore, yet there's so many people who are interested to buy properties that are ranging from $800,000 to over $3 million. And I think that you think people don't have money, there are a lot of people money around. And I think that's also because of lower financing rate. If you actually go and fund it, maybe in Singapore it's 1.3%. So it's very attractive rate and people really go in. But what I find was fascinating, and I wasn't used to it, is that new people, new investors or new home buyers have to go on ballot, meaning they feel that it's going to be oversubscribed. And balloting means what? Fill out the form, sign your check, blank check, leave the figure there blank, and if your ballot has been selected, then the developer will fill in the first 5%. I'm not used to that, okay? I'm not used to that. So I decided this is not something I want to participate. But there are many people that got so much excitement over there. And when you want to invest in the property, there are a lot of consideration, right? If it's for the home, you find reason to do it maybe near the school for your children, or maybe you like to enjoy the park around, fantastic place. And it's a long-term commitment, almost like lifetime commitment. Maybe the loan is 20 years, 25 years, can go up to like 30 years, 35 years, right? So if somebody is like 25 years, then you pay until like 60 years old. And you also actually rely on the developer delivering the property on time. Okay? It promised 2 years to develop, to complete. You want to make sure that it's actually, you can't really make sure. It's all relying on the developer. And obviously, they say, okay, people say if it's the developer is late, then there's a penalty. But why would you want to rely on that? You want to stay in that place on that scheduled time because you may have a commitment to pay off your loan with all this money going in. And later, if you do want to sell, there's a lot of paperwork involved. Fees to be paid to bankers, fees to pay for lawyers, fees to pay to the agent. But if you're staying in the home, you say that, okay, I'm going to stay for long term, never mind, transaction, later you do it later. So there's a lot of emotional reason when investing or buying a property. If you buy a home, okay, there's emotional reason. But if you're buying it for investing purposes for property, then you know that with a large amount of investment, you also be very, very careful. You must really learn how to do it, this thing properly. Cool. So many years ago, I decided that instead of just investing in property, which I want to buy for a home, for my family, I also learned other skill set, like investing in the stock market, and especially in the US stock market. Why? I can start off with a small amount of capital, there's a lot of choices, and at the same time, I can get in and get out very easily. Not a lot of paperwork, you press the button and get in and get out. Also at the same time, transaction costs are very low. There's not a lot of complications or paperwork being done. Stocks is like liquid. Okay? And obviously, I trade another instrument, not just stocks, but options. I'll talk about that one separately another time. Now, with a proper skill set and experience, it is possible to grow your account. Let me just give you an example. Last year was a pandemic year and people are struggling. I mean, me and my team, we did actually pretty well. And let me give you one example of a team member where she was actually 24 years old. She decided that she wants to learn this skill set to be able to make money to actually buy a home in Malaysia for her parents. Now, when she started at that time, the first year she was skeptical that whether these things is real or not. So she didn't actually take action at all. So watching, and she's been an accountant trained, so she was a bit more careful. But after the first year, she realized that there are a lot of people who are doing these things. Many of our clients are doing well. So she started to become more in tune. She wanted to test it out. So for the first 2 months, she was doing practice trading, paper trading, simulated trading. She tested about 5 strategies, different trading strategy in that 2 months. And one of the 5 is something she gave her consistent result. The rest of them, mixed result. So obviously she said, okay, I'm going to do this one strategy. And she put in live trading capital, $2,600 after 2 months. And over a period of 8 months, her account grew to over $100,000. I checked the details. She did about 25 trades, only maybe 1 or 2 didn't go her way. The way that she did it, that we taught her, was to be able to actually make sure that you trade using options regardless of market direction. And that's what she did. And she was very careful that she only captured a small percentage gain, like on a week-to-week basis, like 10%. Okay? Now, at the end of that year, 8 months, her money, she decided that the best use of that money is to actually take care of the family. Her parents are in the early 50s, to buy a home in Malaysia, costing 600,000 ringgit. That's probably about, what, 150,000 US dollars? Maybe 170,000 US dollars. But anyway, her profit was enough to be able to pay a big chunk of buying that house, new house in Malaysia. Not buy yet, haven't bought yet, but the money is allocated to buy it. They're looking for a house to be able to take care of the parents. Isn't that wonderful? So what's the message I want to share with you? You can be able to do both. You can invest in property for a home, also invest in stocks. What's the sequence? Our sequence is this way. I'd rather that you start out with investing in the stock market first to grow your account. To grow your account because there's cash. That allows you that money to be able to place as a deposit to buy your home for your property. Investing in property, it is possible. Take time to learn this process. Be careful. Do that step properly. Don't buy with emotion. Buy based on the numbers. Look at different factors. So start out with stock first because you can start with a small amount of capital. Learn the skill set. I'm not saying that everybody will be successful in stock investing. You still have to learn the skill set. Same thing as property investing. You have to learn the skill set and do this thing properly. Sequence is learn to buy property, invest it. Learn the put the money first. Stocks, after you learn the skill set, let it grow the money so that you can invest in properties that way. Is that cool? So don't make emotional decision. Do both, but do it step-by-step process. Have a dream, have a vision to do it, and then you move forward from there. And if you like what I'm sharing with you, click the link below and can follow through my series as the time goes on. Is that cool? This is Aaron Sim. I hope this information is useful. And I'd like to wish you a great year ahead, 2021. Take care. Go for it.